Oh, to the garden. It's a New York sound like we in the garden. Huh? Everybody with a check ain't certified. If you look behind these shades, you see a murder house. A lot of people that I beef, it wasn't worth my time. Got my name in your mouth like them Perkins.
Yeah, what's up? What's going on? You already know where the how go, my creatives. It's another edition of Cuts. You know what the Cuts stand for? Culture, urban technology, and sports. You know where it goes here. We speak to the power players, the movers and shakers that are moving the culture forward. Now, nonetheless, to my left, to your right, what can I say about this woman? Story time, right? You know how it is when they say network is your net worth, right? Came to an event here at the studio. Shout out to Breon, you know what I'm saying? She was doing a season 2 launch of her podcast. What's the rate? You know what I'm saying? And guest here today, she was one of the panelists, and she was bringing the pain, bringing the oomph onto the panel. You know what I'm saying? So you know how it goes here on Cuts. You know, we bring those people that are going to really vigorously speak, and as well as, you know, they're passionate about their culture. Now, nonetheless, let me give you her background. Manhattan-based media professional, founder of boutique PR firm Velvet Insider Entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Where she speaks to clients, gives them advice about professional growth and the maneuver in the industry, as well as, too, she has a journalism background at Stossel TV under John Stossel. She was the producer there, right? And then, you know, she grew and did her own thing, you know what I'm saying? Raw Story Media, you know what I'm saying? Also was at Fox News Media, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, we might hear some things. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Also, too, lifestyle desk at the U.S. Sun. Nonetheless, we got Sara Alhariri. Did I say it right?
Yes,
I did. All right. Woo! All right. Made sure. It's in the building. What's good, Sara? What's going on?
I'm good. How are you? Actually, today's my birthday.
Happy birthday. Look, what a perfect time to come to Cuts.
I wanted to be today.
Okay. Perfect time to come to Cuts on the birthday. All right, good. Nonetheless, let's get right to it. You was talking behind the scenes, you know, about journalism. You were speaking on things on journalism, and also you're speaking about what you do now as a publicist with your clients and everything. So let's really get into that. For you, has journalism become content creation rather than truth seeking? What do you feel about that?
Yeah.
What say you?
We're seeing a little bit of both. So we do see the news media, and obviously with the news, depending on which station you're watching, you're going to get a bias. There's no such thing as unbiased news. Mm-hmm. However, when we see situations in certain parts of the world where there are media blackouts, sometimes the only way to get any kind of information of what's going on is through the internet. So we start seeing self-appointed journalists who are actually just influencers, but you know, some of them have some merit to them. They're really out there exploring, investigating things, and I follow some of them. Very interesting work, but a lot of them, you know, have their own personal bias as well, and kind of turned it into more of an influencer thing and pushing a specific agenda rather than truth-seeking.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it's tough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, because the times when, and also the entryway into this field of media, right? Mm-hmm. Before, let's say approximately about maybe 15 years ago, mm-hmm. right? Let's say about 2010-ish, 2010. That was kind of like the turning point, because even before that, like you said, you had to have merit. You had to have some kind of credential. There was some kind of background in this as far as what you did, you know, being a producer. You moved up in the ranks and stuff like that until you became a journalist of your own, and then you covered stories and you did it on your own integrity. Yeah. So now, the times we're in now, okay, hey, get a camera or get a mic or get a phone and hey, I'm here on the news. And then you build up a fan base, or you build up your grassroots and your community. And then from there, you know, that's considered, you know, word is bond, or that's the truth now. You know what I'm saying? And for me, you know, I've been in media for the last, I've been in media since 2012. So, you know what I'm saying? Yes. Did I go through an independent route? Yes. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yes, there are some publications I have worked on and work with and under, you know what I'm saying? Other times it's been on my soul, on my back, but, you know, I do everything the best of my ability to have integrity backing with what I cover. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's a powerful tool. It doesn't matter the engagement you have to what you do. You know what I'm saying? This is a powerful tool at the end of the day. We're even us here in this room right now, you know, what we're doing right now it could lead to something or inspiring or however way it goes. You know, so definitely to what you're married or what you just said, yeah, that's definitely to the T. You know what I'm saying? Is objectivity still real or is it a myth we pretend exists?
Objectivity. What do you mean?
As far as like being objective about events or topics or what have you, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it could kind of like waver.
No right answer, no wrong answer.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
No, speak. No, listen, this is what Cuts is about. Listen, speak. This is what Cuts is about.
You came in with a big gun.
Hey, listen. My creatives, listen. They gotta know this is what happens here on Cuts. We get to it. We get to it.
Yes. No, I love that, and that's kind of why I moved away. I'm trying not to get sued. By media Goliaths.
Okay.
But once you become kind of like a toy soldier to a larger network, that's exactly what you are. You're a toy soldier for a certain agenda.
Okay.
And after a while, it becomes tiring when you know your personal truth about what's going on, or when you know that something is wrong that's going on. So there's some things that are objective. For example, if you ask somebody who, right now the hot topic is Venezuela, or two hot topics, Venezuela and Iran. And when you talk to different people from those countries, they'll give you different answers.
Right.
So there's some objectivity there. But when it comes to certain things that we can't deny anymore exist in the industry,
right,
that's when objectivity, there is a right answer and there is a wrong answer.
Right. And to what you're saying, you know what I'm saying? That's where, for me, I've always felt it comes to the one that's the beholder of the narrative. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Not just the corporations, but the journalists themselves. At the end of the day, it still falls on you. And for me, I feel a good amount of journalists, they did their best to keep that merit, or for that matter, to hold up to that accountability. But then, okay, here comes, just like you stated in the previous question about social media, because social media comes to play. Now that pressure comes. All right. Do I really want to hold it for merit, or do I want to do it for the sake of engagement to get things flowing? You know what I'm saying? Yes. And then also too, even the almighty dollar. I mean, you could put that into play as well. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many pressures. I'm not defending it, but to what you're saying, I definitely agree on that. You know what I'm saying? Also too, it's so tough to really it's tough to pinpoint. You know what I'm saying? It's so tough to pinpoint what type of blame. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what you're saying, yes, that is a type of blame, but then there's other variables that come into the play of this. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we do know what's going on, but it's hard for some to understand that. You know what I'm saying? Because some may be in a different space in their life where, okay, I don't want to be as vigilant as that. And
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's others that, okay, they're vigilant. They don't care. They'll go through any length to be vigilant. It got to be morale. I got to fight for the matter. And then there's other people that just don't want nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we got in this society right now. It's hard to put everybody here at that center point. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. And when it comes to journalism that is done like on Twitter or X rather, or any of those social media platforms,
right?
There will be strong opinions from the audience, right? So somebody might say, you have to check out this guy or this gal because they're really on the ground and they're really doing it and they're really showing us the truth. They're not the fake news media. This is an individual. Let me tell you, that individual is funded by someone with interests. It's being an influencer, unless you came from really old money and lots of money, then you could do that. Like when we saw in the early 2000s, Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian, they were famous just for being famous and for having rich dads and stuff. So I encourage people to actually be suspicious when someone pops up out of nowhere and you're like, oh man, that person is not affiliated with any of these networks that have been, not my favorite network. Right. And, they're still biased. It's quite possible. I'm going to withhold the name, but I've also spoken with influencers in the past who have told me to get into certain spaces, they have actually forged a journalist
Right.
badge.
Right.
So just to give you an idea of like how deep that rabbit hole goes, definitely be careful to who you're listening to, and maybe check on the facts, and then you have to. This is a lot. I mean, and then you have to check on where did the facts come from? Like who decided that was the truth?
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, listen. In the last, like I said, once again, I said it, the last 15 years. You know what I'm saying? This internet, social media, the AI, or what have you. It's grown. It's grown into, I don't want to say grown into a monster, but it's grown into this entity now where, okay, maybe I can't rely on that source. You know what I'm saying? Or that source has 1 million followers, or this source has 1 million views, or this person got 2 million views. This page, how do you pinpoint it? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And consistency. You could say consistency. Mm-hmm. Consistency. You can say that, right? Quote unquote consistency. Mm-hmm. But then again, just like you said, you got to just still do your research. You still got to research upon research and make sure everything matches up. Because it's good to have opinions. Yes, opinions do matter. But also, too, what trumps opinions, I hate to say it, is the facts. You know what I'm saying? And if you have the facts to match up to what your narrative is speaking, then thus, yes, that is a solid approach. That is a solid attempt. That is a solid way to convey and get that message out. Because once again, as I stated before, what we do here is a powerful tool. Powerful, divisive tool. And the reason why I'm speaking like that is, I'll keep it a buck. During pandemic, when that documentary that they had on Netflix, The Social Dilemma. So that's basically was like ex programmers from all Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the social media, the powerful social media sites and stuff like that. They were speaking about, okay, this is why you were able to see this happen, this video. This is what we did and then that even changed my trajectory and even about how I go about in media, because I was like, damn. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, wow, that's crazy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And even they showed like certain events that happened, why it happened. Or I forgot that major war that happened in Paris. I want to say that was about 1819. Around that time, there was like a major. I forgot the exact.
I should know this.
Right. But it was a long time ago. But what it was what triggered it was a hashtag. A hashtag triggered it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that just alone just shows you the power of what happens when words and platforms or what have you
Charlie
get.
Hebdo?
I believe so. Yes. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So when certain things get conveyed and it's pushed out into the world and it's pushed out on this internet, look how it magnifies. Look what happens. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And it was important to shine light on certain situations, but then we see that another group might get affected by calling that out. Right. But you can't really say anything about it because it's like, well, these are just the facts. But the fact of the matter is, how come all of a sudden, people who are talking heads, pundits, who have never cared about women's rights in Afghanistan or something, suddenly care, or women's rights in my parents' home country, Iraq, suddenly they care. So it does make me wonder why suddenly certain political talking heads care about free speech. And there has been a lot of friction with the Muslim community and within Paris and France at large. And I'm a Catholic myself, but I'm from Iraq, so often I get perceived as Muslim, and that's great. I love my Muslim brothers and sisters.
Right. And that's your right.
I can see it. I can see, the differentiation that's being made. Right. So it's like, okay, we are free speech warriors when it works for us. So I do encourage people when, looking at media bias to really focus on those kinds of things. I mean, there are some websites out there that are talking about media bias. One I worked with in the Charles Koch Institute. that would be All Sides Media. And they have dedicated their website to basically tracking media bias within different outlets. Now, this is a great idea, and I know the people who work there, they're lovely people. But now it's getting to a new level where we're getting our news from hashtags from individuals. So, we really need to look on that and look into that. And are we really looking into an individual or is somebody backing them up? Because I can tell you a lot of independent journalists that I've met along the way, which I will not name.
That's fine.
They have told me straight up, if I get paid to say, I'm going to quote this. If I get paid to say I'm against abortion, I will say I'm against abortion. And this individual is like on the news, the most like anti-choice, pro-life person, right? And you can be personally pro-life like me, but it's also pro-choice in a way. Like my choice is pro-life, right? But to me, it's just the journalistic integrity gets thrown out the window when someone is saying to you, like you hear a real journalist telling you, if they pay me to say abortion is wrong, I will be out there with the protesters in front of the abortion clinic or whatever. And if they pay me to say abortion is right, then I will be out there with the pro-choice demonstrators on the other side of the fence. And to me, that's just, if your goal is to just be skeezy and get your money, I guess, okay, get your money in the skeeziest way then.
Right.
But if your goal is to have some
merit or matter,
yeah, then you need to make some decisions about where you stand on things, and they need to be backed up by empirical evidence. And if you can't get to that empirical evidence, I gave the earlier example of media blackouts, then you say there's been a media blackout and we're waiting for more information.
Right.
You don't just keep peddling your idea or your funder's idea. Right. Eventually all of that will come out.
Right. Yeah. I want to segue and ask you with the latest events that happened as far as in regards with the lady that led the protest in Minnesota at the church, right? I want to know from you. See, for me, I read up on the story, and I'm not conflicted. But for me, it's a time and a place thing for me, right? And I'm not. And I just want to be clear. I'm not defending of ICE or defending of Trump. I just wanted to be clear. I'm big on matter, like I said before, matter versus mind, right? Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, the pastor was of ICE, right? Okay, cool. But to go into a place where they're conducting service, regardless of whatever the religion is, whatever the religion is, that to me is somewhat stepping over the line. And here's the reason why I'm saying that. Because you don't know whom is in the building. I mean, yes, you know of whom's in the building, but let's say there's kids there. Let's say there's families that, okay, like we said before, there's some people that are not about being vigilant over, but okay, they still want to go on their life, on their merry way. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you do it outside the church, cool. That's outside the church. Okay, outside the church, whatever. But inside, it's like, that's where it's like, all right.
It's a place of worship and meditation. And,
right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I want to know from you, in a sense, what's your take on those latest events? And you could be as honest as possible.
Yeah, so, we've seen a lot of unsettling videos regarding law enforcement.
Right.
And I haven't been following closely on whether or not certain instigations were legal or not, the legality of things, so I'm not going to speak on that.
Right.
Because I need to read up more on that.
No, correct.
However, it's something right now that is hurting our country. It's really tearing our country apart.
Right.
People have really strong opinions on both sides, but there is a time and a place. She could have written to the pastor. She could, to stop, promoting ICE ideals or anti-immigration or anti-immigrant sentiment. I still remember many, many, many years ago. This was many moons ago. I spoke to a woman who told me, she finally became an American citizen and she had to go through a whole crazy process because she had to get to America by the skin of her teeth. I forgot which country she was originally from, but she was able to get here through a fruit crate as a refugee from, there was something going on in her country and specifically in her town. And there was no way to get papers.
Right.
Like, where are you going to get the papers from if the government office see, we're so spoiled. We're so spoiled. We can just go and get our documents from wherever, But some people, they, in their home countries, they want to make a new home here in the U.S. because they have seen our ideals.
Right.
The vast majority of immigrants, legal or not, okay, they are here because they're hardworking people and they are leaving something horrific back home. And let me tell you, a lot of them are leaving a part of themselves back home.
Right.
That is the story of a lot of immigrants. And in many cases, they're unable to get those papers. So, we think about it in such a black and white way because we're like, why can't they just go? If someone is really anti, trying to crack down on illegal immigration, why can't they just do it the right way? Well, certain countries make it easier to do it the right way than others, right? If you're coming here from the UK, I feel like it would be a lot easier than, if you were, I don't know, maybe a refugee trying to escape Iran right now.
Right.
So yeah, I think that there's so much nuance in between that and
right.
It's okay to have an opinion.
No, correct.
But
correct.
I will say with my expert opinion and my master's degree in global affairs, there's something called an informal economy, and that's basically a way to say money that is being made in a way it could be through illicit means, but it could also be this person came to the U.S. as an illegal immigrant, but they are paying taxes, they are law-abiding, they are contributing to the economy. And we have seen a drop in the economy with a lot of different sectors, and it's because a lot of people are afraid to leave their homes because of ICE.
Right.
So I do really beg of the international relations people, the people who have studied political science, the people in politics. I really hope that they can consider the informal economies
Yes.
that occur in the U.S. and still they mobilize our economy. So with that, it's just when I see the arguments for illegal immigration, I get a little.
No, but you have a right to feel that way. I mean, like I said, as I was asking you the segue question, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I get it. Where it's a lot going on. The turmoil is hitting. We want a change. We want something to happen. Cool. But when does the line get drawn as mind over matter? When does the line get drawn that, okay, there's a better way I can convey this without going over the line? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm not here to say, okay, that guy is righteous enough or whatever. That's not where I'm going here with it. I'm looking at the totality of it. And you know what I'm saying? Because granted, thank God nobody did get hurt with that situation. But let's say somebody did get hurt with that situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What happens now after that? You know what I'm saying? Do we go, well, no, it had to go against ICE. I had to get my point across against ICE.
Yeah. But
somebody got hurt in the process. You know what I'm saying? When does that, you know what I'm saying? And for me, I feel with activism, and this is just my opinion, my creatives, I feel the goalpost has been moved so much over the years. You know what I'm saying? As far as what activism should be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, okay, well, we did this because we were angry and we want change. Okay, well, a sacrifice had to happen. Okay, well, that sacrifice is numbers of people got injured in the process, regardless if they were for it or they were against it. Mm-hmm. Somebody got injured in the process. So what's the matter at hand? You know what
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm coming from with it. And it's not listen, I'm gonna look into this camera, I'm gonna say it again. Okay, this ain't about defending Trump, defending ICE, anything of that magnitude, okay? This is about mind over matter. You know what I'm saying? Premise and gist. Okay, I understand the premise, but this is a meeting up with the gist.
Absolutely.
You know, at the end of the day.
I think, unfortunately, what we're seeing a lot of, though, and we have been seeing this since time immemorial, since the news started, even before the news, we had freak shows, right? So they get the person who is the most just over the top, just crazy, likely like suffering from some kind of mental illness or instability, and put that person on the news with their political opinion. And, you know, or something crazy that they did in the name of politics, right? And that is a horrible thing. I'm not defending those people and saying, oh, it's because they were mentally ill, that it's okay for whatever.
Right.
They absolutely need help. But I would love to see the news media, you know, when they very well know, a lot of these outlets, they'll very well know. I find it hard to believe that they wouldn't.
Right.
That, that person is mentally ill. It's sensational. This story is going to get a lot of clicks. It's going to get a lot of dollars.
Right. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, let's get to it with publicists. You know what I'm saying? Because I know daily. Yeah. I don't know your vice of choice. I don't know if it's wine or you decompress on a daily basis with multiple clients you deal with.
Yes.
Do you feel PR shifted from storytelling to crisis management? What do you feel about that?
Wow. Yes.
Let's get to it. Let's say this is what we do on Cuts. This may not be tea, my creatives, but we get to it.
Yep. So we have to talk about. What is your story? Who are you? Because if you're going to turn yourself into a brand, that means you want to monetize yourself. Let's be honest about that. And that, eventually that means you want to make that your full-time career. So you have to find a niche. And within that niche, you have to, be keeping up with posts and things and all the trends and just keeping up with all of that. With people I work with, I've done PR from doctors to tattoo artists to Playboy models, all kinds of like crazy things, crazy people and interesting stories. But at the end of the day, they all came with a very compelling story. And I found them to be, highly intelligent. A lot of people ask me, hey, Sarah, why was the nude model so intelligent? I'm like, because she contacted me. So my big advice to creators is to just contact journalists. We don't have a lot of friends because we're journalists. We have weird schedules. Right. I still consider myself a journalist. Like once a journalist, it's like I'm branded forever. So, we have weird schedules. Sometimes we work in the middle of the night. People who are not in our industry don't get that. And so they're like, oh gosh, like this person's so flaky. But it's like our editor asked us to work like the last minute or something, or switch or shift with someone else. Mm-hmm. So, a lot of that kind of happens as far as, working, as a journalist. But yeah, a lot of journalists don't have a lot of friends because of this. So if you're a creator, reach out to journalists, follow them on Instagram. Most of them have Twitter. Mm-hmm. You want to follow them on Twitter as well. Basically any social media that you can get them on. And you can pitch your story directly to them. And, I think that if you do it in a way that's very honest, not like, hey, write this for me, because I used to.
Right.
Why won't you write this? This is such an interesting story. And It's just like, oh my gosh.
Right.
I do want to warn against like the CRMs. A lot of people want to use CRMs and have the emails, do the work for you, and it's AI, whatever. I used to see through that.
Okay.
And a lot of my coworkers would see right through that. And it's kind of like, you have to understand, even a journalist just working at the tiniest tabloid is getting thousands of emails a day. I'm not even exaggerating. Mm-hmm. So you need to stick out. Okay. And so with PR, it differs from marketing. Because we are making a timestamp in history of you and what you're doing.
Right.
We're not just putting you in an ad. We can do Instagram ads all day long. We can run ads on Pinterest, whatever is your thing. We can run ads all day long. That's marketing, that's fine. But PR is really putting a stamp in history for you. So you really need to find out what is your niche. Like you guys can search my name, and the Playboy model who froze. She had to go to the hospital because she posed in Iceland and she got what is it called? Hypothermia. If you, you can look it up,
Oh, wow.
and you can see, you'll find my article, and you'll see that she is so committed to that though. She's not embarrassed by it for 1 minute. Like when I talked to her, it was actually one of the easiest like interviews. I would say it was in the top 10 of easiest interviews.
Right.
And English wasn't even her first language. She kept apologizing about her English, but it was great. She was able to express her story to me. But no matter what your story is, no matter how crazy you think it is, you need to really own it. I give that extreme example of the Playboy model.
No, that's right.
But it's it's her niche, and she owned it. So whatever your niche is, you need to completely own it, and you can't dial back on yourself and talk yourself down. Stop with the self-deprecating. Know who you are, own it, and you can be cocky about it. You have my permission.
All right, no, that's what's up. No, hey, listen. But that leads to the next thing right here. Can scandals truly be fixed anymore in these times?
I love scandals. Why would you want to fix them?
No, but seriously, no. But I get what you're saying. But do you feel,
What are we fixing about the scandal?
Okay, go ahead, talk about it. I mean, let's see.
What needs fixing about a scandal? When there's a scandal, it's one of the best things that could happen for your career. So one time I had a scandal. Guys.
Okay.
I had a scandal. I wrote a gym article about, and it was actually a lifestyle. Like, I didn't think out of all the scandals I would ever have, I thought it would be the time I worked at Fox News, the time I ever worked at anywhere else.
Right.
Literally, it was not any of the times I was reporting on crime, not any of the times I was reporting on politics, but the time I was reporting on lifestyle, specifically a woman's gym routine.
Okay.
And this was a quickie story I made in the morning, wrote in the morning. I interviewed the girl and almost immediately went at the story. I write really fast. It's a short article. It's for a tabloid. It maybe took me 15, 30 minutes to write. I got her pictures, threw those in, everything published. And that story went viral because there's some influencer on the internet who kind of zooms in on pictures of gym girls that are lying about their results and where their results came from. And he was basically pointing out that there's all this Photoshop, and I was just oh dear. And then, everyone it was a bit of a scandal, it was a lot. It had 10,000 likes. I saw, some people that I thought were my friends liking the video.
It'd be that way.
Unfriend.
Oh, wow. Okay. Hey, it'd be that way, son.
But, it was great for me, though. It was really great for me. And I love that guy. I wish that he would ask me out to coffee, or I would ask him out to coffee. Not in a weird way. We're both taken, but I would love to go out to coffee with him because I thought it was a wonderful scandal for me to have.
Okay. So
it brought so many followers, so much traffic my way, and from my personal brand, it was great.
So do you feel now, because in the times we're in, it's more helpful versus a divisive tool against you in a way? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because,
Get ready for the scandal.
Right.
Because somebody's studying you. Somebody who's also in your niche will always be studying you, and it's creepy and it's weird. It sounds insane, but it's true. They'll be studying you, and they are waiting to put you in a scandal. So own the scandal before it happens.
All right, my creatives, you heard that. All right. Let's see. How do you manage clients who are their own worst enemy online? Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
I hear the Sutter home. I hear the Sutter home in that song. Let's go into it.
Yeah. So you mean online, just posting ridiculous stuff online?
Yeah, to to things that can definitely be damaging and ruin relationships with brands or people that are making investments.
Yeah,
with your clients.
absolutely. Don't slam your brand deal. Don't slam whoever's paying your bills. I
Right.
guess. Yeah. Don't do that. Make sure that who you're working with is in line with you, so you don't ever have the feeling to slam them,
Right.
or go against them. So be choosy with your brand deals. If you get one, more will come. And when I have clients that are their own worst enemy, a lot of times they will call me and they'll be like, "Sarah, I said this and it went viral, and now I'm having a fight with whatever ex famous person on wherever, and we're just having like a back and forth, like a war on the internet." And I'm like, this is the best thing that could have ever happened for visibility for you, if
Okay.
we're being honest.
Okay, right. Okay.
And that actually, with this client, I was able to speak to them that way, and they were, because we had that kind of working together long term, and he was like, "You know what, you're right. I'm getting visibility in ways that I didn't have them before, and it's actually a great thing." And I still give the example, as I said earlier, I was involved in a scandal. They basically was just trying to say, like, I have, I don't know, no journalistic integrity because I wrote about this girl and
Right.
didn't think about her having a BBL or something, or
Right.
whatever it could have been. I don't know what it was. I don't remember.
Right.
Allegedly, I don't know. Okay.
It's all good. All good, son.
But, it brought so many amazing people to me. It also brought clients to me. At the time when I was a journalist and I was looking for, I really wanted women in fitness to speak to me.
Right.
Because a lot of women were telling me, "Oh, I love how you go to the gym all the time, but I don't want to look huge and manly." And I'm like, you won't look huge and manly because you're not a man, and
Right.
trying to explain that, but I'm not a fitness expert. So, because of my scandal, now I have fitness experts, plural, in my Rolodex, because they understand the game. They understand that, putting up a video of somebody and critiquing them and all of that, all of this is a social media game.
Right.
So, it just comes down to clicks and all these numbers. I mean, can you buy followers? Can you buy those numbers? Yes, you can. And there's a couple of ways to go about it. And I don't recommend either.
Right. Right. No, right.
Yeah,
right.
I don't recommend any of the ways. Yeah, people always know. They always find out. Even the least social media savvy person can see it.
No, that's a whole fact. Yeah, I mean, listen, man, when you do that, there's a lot that comes with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to keep up with it. My career is just, I'm looking into the camera to you right now, letting you know, you got to keep up with that. You got to keep up with that weight. You got to keep up with that weight upon your shoulders to say that those numbers are your numbers, and whoever you're selling it to or whatever, you got to think, okay, well, I know they know, or, well, they don't know. How much can I keep this cloak over their eyes and keep it going? That's a large task. I mean, if you do it organically, just like Sarah's saying, you know what I'm saying, do it organically.
Yeah, and I have under 2,000 followers, but I get followed by I get some of the craziest follows. I'm not even going to mention some of them,
Right.
but I get some of the craziest follows, and it's because of the work I've done in the past.
Right.
They find me through that. So, I even consulted with a social media manager. I thought I needed more followers so I can get, more like things like, this was earlier on in my career, things like press and brand deals and things like that, like press trips, all those kind of things that I would see influencers getting. And I was like, I probably need at least like 100,000 followers or something. How do I do that? Mm-hmm. And basically, that was the best $75 I ever spent in my career for that consult, because I also made a friend out of the social media manager, but she told me that I don't really need that. She sat me down and was like, you don't actually need what you think you need, because you already get those credentials, you already get those invites as a journalist, and if you don't get them, you can ask and get them. Likely you will get them. So right. She was totally right about that. So yeah, I really cannot stress enough to creatives, I know you want to take your saved up money and throw it at your dream and pray to God and just put everything in and go, just all the way in. No. Just breathe. You need money.
Breathe and plan. Breathe, plan. No, plan and invest.
You need to be financially savvy, and don't overspend. It's one of the biggest mistakes I see people doing, and sometimes their business, they will crash and burn their own business because of that.
Nah, that's what's up. Yeah. At what point does an influencer become a public figure with morale responsibility? Ooh. Oh, yo, shout out to the Remo Rack Brand team. Yo, we be cute. We be cooking behind the scenes at post productions. We be cooking, yo.
The questions, oh my gosh. I'm usually on the other side of these things. Now I know how it feels. I was just out here terrorizing people.
Well, I mean, we don't terrorize your cuts, but I'm just saying, we get to it. We want to get to the debunking.
I'm Arab. I can say it.
Yeah, yes. No, hey, listen. We're
we'll get to that part later. No,
no, that's fine.
We'll get to that.
No, that's cool. No, hey.
Okay, so oh my gosh, you got me.
I got you, man. Should influencers face? No, sorry, not that one. At what point does an influencer become a public figure with morale responsibility?
When they align themselves with politicians, with people who influence social norms, social justice activists, when they align themselves with those people, those kind of like politically known figures, that's when they need to, they have moved out of the realm of simply an influencer to now you have a lot more responsibility.
Yeah, the moral compass is higher.
And it makes me sad to see that a lot of them will say, well, I'm not a role model for anyone. Okay, then why were you with Hillary Clinton? Why were you with, whoever, Donald Trump? Why were you posing with this person? Why are you doing this with this political influencer, this collaboration with this political pundit? Once you get into that realm, then yeah, you become more than just an influencer.
Yeah, and shout out to my supervisor. We was having a discussion about that at work regarding about we was talking about like the Snoop Dogg's, the Nellies, the Ludacris, the other entertainers as well that have jumped to that. You know what I'm saying? And for one, I guess outside looking in, right? You're going to really question it, especially depending upon their careers. All right, if your career is skyrocketing, is here, why do so? You know what I'm saying? Versus if you really need it. And that's the thing that her and I was talking about, you know what I'm saying? And discussing about that. I want to know from you, based on what you do as far as a publicist and everything like that, is it hard for you to detect? Or is it one of those things where it's okay, it's, you look into a blind eye about it, or is it that you're sticking to the business at hand and what you're doing for a said client that does make that decision? Yeah, take us into that.
Yeah. So, I moved to New York City with 2 suitcases in 2018, but I'm a girl from Northern Virginia, right? So a lot of people call it the greater DC area. Literally 15 minutes out of DC. Mm-hmm. So very political. And a lot of times when I would go to different events, I would go to different events at different think tanks, all the think tanks. If I agreed, if I disagreed, I would go. So I do have a bit of a political background as well. So if a client wants to be a political influencer, that's all good by me. I have the credential, I have the degree for that too. I could put my degree to use. I have the lived experience of, growing up in the DC area. Casually, my best friend's dad works for the CIA. It's, that's story of growing up in that area. So when it comes to that, for Velvet Insider Entertainment, what we do is we hone in on your craft. And that's what any good publicist should do.
Right.
Where the line is drawn is going to be obvious to pretty much everyone in the room.
Right.
Can I leave it at that?
Right. No, that's fine.
If you're let's say if you're a person who's who are those guys? you know, like the neo-Nazi, like the white supremacist. There's so many white supremacist groups that you lose track.
Right.
But like, you know, if they're like affiliated with that and like they're like, yeah, you know, I'm affiliated with this, and they just got designated as a hate group, but and it's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna have to part ways.
Right.
But if, you know, you want to position yourself as opposite of like what my political views are, my personal political views are, and
Right.
your political views are complete opposite, but they work, they're nonviolent, they're, you know, fine. I have no problem with that
Right.
whatsoever. So yeah, you know, at this point, politics has become entertaining, so we shouldn't even be surprised that there are political influencers out there.
No, correct. No, definitely, you're definitely correct on that. And and thank you for your transparency, because, you know, once again, I think for the people outside in, they may have an idea about what's going on with that, but then again, when you hear the other side, you know, a person like yourself or a professional, if they do express about what's going on behind the scenes, you know what I'm saying, you can have a better look, or your emotional like vigor. Like, oh, why? It'll probably be decreased, or you may keep the same energy. You know what I'm saying? Even for me, like when I see entertainers, the thing for me that's big, it's like, okay, is there really a need for you to do that in your career? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not saying, okay, if you make a political choice, all right, cool, whatever. Like, that's your political choice. Like, cool. But in the same token, it's like, okay, if it's not aligning, or if there's no real moral compass from you,
Right.
the figure themselves.
We did see a lot about Amber Rose. We did see a lot with Amber Rose, people saying, like, why do you love Trump all of a sudden? Why are you like this? You know, she still supports, you know, she supports certain things that are traditionally have not been supported by the Republican Party.
Right.
You know, but she did speak her truth. And so I would work with a client like that happily. I would work with a client like that any day happily, because she spoke her truth and started talking about, well, when I was doing the slut walks, I thought that's what I had to do. And I had to be this, like, you know, over the top sexy version of myself and go like really in on that and really extreme on that. And she was like, you know, looking back on that, I don't know what she said exactly, but she, along the lines of cringe, like she cringes when she looks back on that. And if that's her truth now, I'm happy to work with somebody like that. But somebody who's out there spewing hate, that's a different story.
Right.
You know, but there is a market for hate, but I don't see it lasting very long. And
Right.
a lot of times those people will, I think within the next 5 years, this is my personal opinion, because of AI, there is a lot of, we talked about on the internet, fake followers and things, you know, and a lot of us know about bots. We know about them in a political sense. But, you know, within the next 5 years, with AI, with all of this, you know, coming to light, and with a lot of the social media networks now cooperating with the U.S. government and being interrogated by the U.S. government, and I think rightfully so, because a lot of weird things happen on those platforms, those people will be exposed. So a lot of those people who build their platform on hate,
Right.
like there's not like,
It's not really much room for you to grow.
like, I go in the comments. I've been an investigative journalist. I go in the comments of people. Like if I'm like, I want to interview that person, or I want to like, let me like find out. Let me do my little, you know, like the Netflix you.
Right.
Let me do my little investigation.
Research.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's look into that. And you know, you just see these profiles, and it's like they have one follower, and then it's like, where's this profile based? And it's like, it's based in the countries where you usually have these what they call bot farms. And it's literally they'll have iPhones taped to the wall. I mean, up and down the wall. Yeah, look it up, guys. If you think, please look it up. Please look it up.
Okay. All right.
It's real. So yeah.
Let me get to this one question about AI, and then from there we're gonna get the bars or cap. Okay, so you're speaking about replacement, right? Will AI replace writers, musicians, journalists, and designers? I mean, I mean, certain things are getting replaced, but I'm saying for you, like, do you feel?
Oh, for me personally.
Yeah. Do you feel? What
no.
do you feel?
No, because every time I read or hear an AI script, it's just my brain turns off. I'm too ADHD for that. I have to get up and leave. I don't like it. It's the same thing over and over. And also, I'm a writer at heart.
Right.
So I'm a wordsmith. I love words. So so yeah, for me, the AI content is not very entertaining, and I think also it's not even going to be very good algorithmically
Okay.
in the future.
Okay.
As far as content creation. So I don't really recommend AI content creation unless it's like actually labeled AI. I know some people who are AI artists, and that's a whole different story. But I think it's already starting. But I mean, I just have that feeling, that inkling, allegedly.
Right.
But
Right.
I don't have any insider information on when it's going to happen. But it's very possible. I have spoken actually with, he's a model scout, well known. I'm not going to name him now, but if I named him, you would know who he was. And he was we were talking because I was doing PR for a women's fashion company, and he told me, in a few years, these models, these gorgeous women, they're going to be gone. And I'm like, really? He's like, I think so. I really think so. With the AI,
Yeah,
they're already doing it.
I mean, I'll say this, and being one that, as of late, I mean, AI as far as like my production. So if I got to get a reel done or production after what I create, right? Not saying fully AI, but like certain things like shorts and reels because of the time. That I have, that the time that I kind of have to get things done, right? Cool. But as far as like for everything, it's like, no. Because even the artist in me, the creative in me, it tenses up. It's like, man, I could create, I could do it. You know what I'm saying?
So
in that regard. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So I definitely, to what you're saying, I definitely agree on that. But also too, it's like, all right, certain things is getting out of hand per se with AI, and you can sense it. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things is getting. I'm not knocking technology now. Don't get me wrong. I'm as a person who has a degree in computer science. You know what I'm saying? I'd be a fool to be like, oh no, I hate AI. No, but
It's great stuff.
No, but in the same token, you know what I'm saying? It depends on how you use it. And also whom uses it.
Yeah.
That's the other part as well. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. It's amazing, certain things you could get done and everything like that.
You say it perfectly.
Right. It's certain things you can get done, right? But in the same token, that's anything that you use when it's new or it is an advancement, or for that matter with technology itself. It's going to have its pros and cons. Maybe the cons outweigh the pro. Maybe the pros outweigh the con. But it depends on whom. For me, I always felt it depends on whom uses it.
Yeah.
Versus why they use it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what can be, you know what I'm saying? And even of media people, us, or if you're a podcaster, you know what I'm saying? Okay, certain things you got to get done in a certain amount of time, right? Because even with content itself, the shelf life, depending upon what it is, if it's evergreen, if it's not, you know what I'm saying? If it's not evergreen, you got a shorter time. If it's evergreen, okay, I got time, but not too much.
Yeah.
It's just like a certain amount.
Oh, absolutely.
And then you got to get it out. Production wise, you got to get it out. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I have one client, and he shocks me all the time with like the time between him actually shooting the content and then it being posted. I'm talking like there's like, it can't be more than like 8 minutes. I swear, it can't be more than 8 minutes. I mean, he just shoots the content so fast, and because he has to get things out, he uses the AI features to cut up his video for him, and it does an okay job. He's never been a video editor, never had that background, but he's usually a guy who's an on-cam guy, not behind the scenes. Yeah. Right. So for people like that who are trying to make it work, that's amazing, and also it can save money for some people too as well.
That part.
Yeah.
All right, now, nonetheless, here we go. Bars of Cap. You already know my creators. Bars of Cap. It's that game that we play here on Cuts where we speak about certain scenarios. And for the guest here, Bar if they agree to it, cap is pretty much self-explanatory as cap, but you got to explain. It's either or. You know what I'm saying? Well, not either or. It's one or the other. Sorry. It's bar or it's cap. You can't be on the fence. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. Most people don't want the truth. They want confirmation. Bars or cap?
Bars.
Okay. Why bars?
They just they need validation, and it might be a thing of low self-esteem, so they need external validation.
All right. Cool. Clickbait didn't ruin journalism. Journalists did. Bars or cap? Woo! Yo, my creators.
Cap.
All right. Why cap? No. Why cap? All right. Why cap?
Remo, I don't want to get sued for why
No,
cap.
it doesn't matter. Hey, listen, this is what bars and cap is about. I mean, I'm not saying I don't want you to get sued. I mean, you can say allegedly, but all right. I mean, why is that a true statement or not? Bars or cap?
I'm gonna break the third wall. Which one?
Whatever one. Hey,
Break the third wall.
Okay.
We journalists, we love our journalistic integrity, and that's what matters most to us.
Okay.
That being said, we may or may not work with people who pay our salaries who don't agree with that.
Right.
And have their own views
Okay.
that they would like expressed through us.
Okay. All right. So that's cap. All right. We're gonna say cap. We're gonna say cap. See,
Yep.
There you go. See, my creative. See, this is what I'm saying here on Remo Land. People are safe here at Remo Land. I mean, do we kind of go near the line? I mean, a little bit.
Yeah.
But people are safe here. You know what I'm saying? All right. Social media is the biggest editor-in-chief in the world. Bars or cap? Oh.
Yes. Oh,
All right,
bars. Yeah.
Bars. All right.
Bars.
Why bars?
The algorithm.
No. Oof, I know
Yeah.
the algorithm.
What's going on Instagram? And then I go on to TikTok, and it's like something will blow up on TikTok, but it will do nothing. It will be in jail on Instagram, and I try everything. And I'm like, what is...
I don't know. I think the algorithm is worse than the New York rental space. I ain't gonna lie. Like,
really
listen, honestly, I'd rather go through the New York rental space as far as with the criteria you got to go through and checks and background checks and all this other nonsense. I'd rather go through that than have to deal with the algorithm.
Absolutely.
With my content.
Absolutely.
I'm just keeping it a buck.
Yeah.
I'm just keeping it a
And
buck.
it keeps just showing me what I think the algorithm assumes I would like. And that's not what I like.
Right.
I want to know more.
Right.
I want to know what my friends like. I want to know what other people are doing. I want to know what's going. That's why I'm on social media. That's why I'm networked. That's why I'm, that. So yeah, it's like an editor-in-chief with a whip,
Right. All right. Influencers have more power than they're ready to admit. Bars or cap? Ooh. Nah, hey, listen.
Bars.
I was about to say, if you would have said cap, if you would have said cap, I'd have been like, huh?
Yeah.
Why bar?
Because they have to believe in themselves. And, I hope we can discuss this.
Right, yeah, no, okay. We got
about
that.
people believing in themselves in this industry, especially minority groups believing in themselves in this industry. I've told you about this, Remo. I think I just talked your ear off probably about this. Like, I want to flip tables. Like, I get disturbed. I want to leave the room and breathe and come back. I feel like I need a cigarette. I don't even smoke.
Right.
Like when they tell me I can't do this, Sarah, I'm not white.
Right.
Am I white? I'm Iraqi.
Right. Right. I get it.
That was like the most hated ethnicity you could be in the United States for quite some time, and arguably still now.
Right.
Still now, and I'm still doing it.
Right.
I don't care, and I'm proudly Iraqi. So many people have told me, Sarah, stop talking about being Iraqi. And I'm here to tell you I will never stop talking about my Iraqi background.
That's up to you.
Never stop talking about it. Mm-hmm. And I want my clients and people out there listening, if you are a minority in any sense, racial minority, ethnic minority, religious minority, anything, and you feel, I can't do this.
Gotta get out that mindset.
You have to get out, because even as an influencer, mm-hmm. you have this capacity to bring so much change, so much livelihood, and you'll be making money doing what you love. You'll be putting food on the table doing what you love. Not everybody has that luxury.
Yeah, the opportunity. That's a fact. All right. Cancel culture is just it's just consequences with Wi-Fi. Bars of cap. Yo, Remo Mariah brand team. Yo, we go crazy in pre-production. So I'm not gonna lie to you.
Cap.
Cap. All right, why cap?
Marie Antoinette. I don't know. I feel like people have been hating since time immemorial.
Right.
I don't think that, cancel culture, I don't think that it's such an internet thing. I mean, if we want to put it in the lens of, like within the lens of
social media
and stuff, sure. Yeah. Wi-Fi, we got connected to the internet too fast, and people post things without thinking, and then it gets reposted and whatever. So that's where you call Velvet Insider Entertainment for crisis comms.
There goes the plug. All right.
Don't worry, it's not that bad.
Right. Okay.
That's our motto.
All right,
it's probably not that bad.
All right. PR is just crisis management with good grammar. Bars of cap. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, pre-productions. Yo, Remo Mariah brand team. Yo, we go crazy over here. Yo. I'm not gonna lie to you, son. Yo.
I mean, I wish I could say both in a way, but bars, because we take the reality of the situation, and then it's kind of like a lawyer. Like lawyers speak, we have publicists speak. So we do the hard part for you. And that's kind of like, when a lawyer sends a letter to somebody and they, cease and desist.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah, I know. A little...
Hey, listen, that's okay. That's okay. All right, let's see. Oh, I like this one right here. Clients ruin themselves faster than the internet ever could. Bars of cap.
Bars.
Yeah, speak on it. I mean, you did touch on it a little bit, but speak on it. Speak on it.
I've had so many people saying, I can't do this, I'm not white, I can't do that. My advice to creators, you can do whatever you can do. You pretty much do anything if you put your mind to it. Yeah, and you also, you need to play the game. And don't think that playing the game means some kind of white people secret, or Nepo baby secret that nobody else is in on, or you can never be in on. No. Right. You have to sign up for DocuSign. That's legally binding. Mm-hmm. You can get a year-long subscription for $90, I believe. It's like discounted, so which is just a great deal. And then you don't have to do the old-fashioned way of going to, like, being invited to a coffee or a lunch or a dinner that doesn't even end up in a contract being signed. And then it's like, why did you invite me to dinner? What's going on? You what? Right. And there's a lot of weirdos in the industry as well. So you have to, get those things signed. Have those documents signed. And I know a lot of you get so excited. A lot of creators that I work with get so excited. They have so much money saved up, and they're like, I'm about to throw $10,000 at this amazing marketing guy. And I'm like, hold on.
Right.
Hold on.
We could use it. We could use the money for a better budget, for a better plan, better plan. Exactly.
So, just to make sure that you have perhaps a lawyer, on your side that you can go to for consultation.
Entertainment lawyer,
yes. Make sure that everything is signed in paper, because, it's not in your head when you feel like there's some kind of like hierarchy. It's really not. It's not in anyone's head, but you need to get out of your head so that you can fight back.
Right. That's what's up.
And the way to get out of your head is to hit them with the Uno reverse. Hit them with a curveball.
Bow.
And always have that contract. Well, we signed this contract.
Right?
But that's not in the contract.
Paperwork is key.
We had a contract.
Paperwork is key. Yeah. Paperwork is key.
DocuSign.
Not paperwork sponsored, is key.
But they should sponsor me.
All right. AI didn't kill creativity. It exposed laziness. Bars of cap. Ooh. Damn, we are going crazy over here. Cuts. We don't play.
Cap.
All right, why cap?
I think a lot of people are using AI just to, we touched on it a little bit earlier, to make their current job, which is difficult, It is difficult to be full-time public figure, influencer, anyone in the show business realm. So if you are using AI to more easily organize everything, input data that you have already collected and be like, could you organize this in a way that's like nicer, things like that, and then you're looking over that. I don't see that as laziness. I see that as just using technology.
All right. Oh, I like this one. These last three, and then we getting up out of here. Human originality is overrated. Bars a cap.
Cap.
Woo! Speak on it.
I know. So, there's some like people who hate life that says, someone invented the wheel and everyone else just copied,
right.
Whatever the expression is, and I hate that. There is human creativity, and I don't want people to give up on their own inner creativity, that own inner spark, because that's what made you start in the first place.
Right.
Because no one just jumps into the show business career like that unless you're a lunatic with no backup plan.
Right.
And no other ideas or no side gig or something. Like, no one fully jumps into that. So.
All right, cool. All right. Money ruined my industry. Bars a cap.
Money ruined my industry.
I'm not gonna lie with the team. Like when they presented that to me, like it was a quick audible. They presented that to me, and I'm like, all right, guys, I don't know how that's gonna be taken, but all right, let's just do it anyway.
Money ruined my industry. You know what? It's always since time immemorial. Once again, let's go back. Let's go back to all the socialites that we grew up with. So let's
go bar. So we saying bar on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bar.
Okay. Why bar? Let's go.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of time. Why bar?
Yeah. Ruined it? No, not ruined it.
No. So cap.
I would say cap. Yeah.
Okay.
Cap.
Sorry. Oh.
Yeah.
Woo. Oh. I'm gonna say my credit.
Because we've already been there, and we're already living it, and we've been living it for a long time. And some people who are watching this are super young, and this is all they know.
Right.
All they know is people being famous for being famous, and a lot of them were Nepo babies. And I don't think that it ruined entertainment. A lot of people, almost everybody, I'll give an example. Almost everybody I talk to says, I can't stand the Kardashians. I hate keeping up with the Kardashians. Okay, well, they had a zillion seasons of that show, and then they had more on Hulu, and you cannot go a day without seeing a Kardashian somewhere. Right? So somebody's entertained. Right? Someone's entertained. So, it really comes down to just accepting, how the world works. Obviously, if someone's a Nepo baby, they're going to have an easier time getting into spaces that maybe you dreamed about. And I know exactly how that feels. I've had somebody who was like, who I could have given birth to, like, in a higher position than me. And then, lo and behold, I find out that, daddy news owner of this and such, whatever.
It's connections.
Yeah.
It's connections. What can one say?
So when you
can say what we want, say what you will. The connections are going to be the connections.
Exactly. And that's why I'm so big on minorities coming together and really, like, just holding each other on this, and because those Nepo babies, the people who are famous for being famous, all those people, they have a support system. Mm-hmm. But for us, a lot of us, we're the first ones doing show, like, this is crazy. Like, we're the first ones in our generation, or maybe the second, but we're not, like, we're kind of the pioneers, So we really have to stick together as minority people, because otherwise, that's when you find yourself lost. You're like, I don't have enough money. That's why. Mm-hmm. I don't have enough followers. That's why. Mm-hmm. I'm not this. I'm not that. And that's why. No,
you're enough.
Yeah, you're enough. Surround yourself with people who see your talent as well.
All right, let's go with this one, and then we're getting up out of here. Everybody wants transparency until it's uncomfortable. Bars a cap.
Bars.
Woo! Go into it, and we out of here after we finish.
Let's talk about let's talk about war. Let's talk about the Vietnam War. And the Iraq War. Why was there so much anger about the Vietnam War, right? Mm-hmm. At the time, and not so much about the Iraq War? at the time, right? Now it's different. Now we know it was an illegal invasion, but you know, we weren't as this country wasn't angry enough. And I feel like they should have been, because they sent their boys and some of their kids didn't come back, and there's 1 million dead Iraqi civilians. They were ethnically cleansing, certain groups of people in Iraq, and Iraq is full of different ethnicities. It's full of different backgrounds. You'll be so surprised, if you read up on it. So, we see one difference, and it is that the media landscape for reporting on war was very different during the Vietnam War era than it was during the Iraq War era. But it's changing now with social media a little bit. Right. So with the Iraq War era, we got a really censored version of the news. And I still remember visiting a family member who had moved to Europe, to get away from the situation. And I remember going to Europe and seeing actually what was going on in Iraq, like actual horrible images of what was going on there. And then I realized from a young age, I was like, that's what they were talking about when they were talking about in history class. They showed the Vietnam War in gruesome detail. There's that one photo of that naked woman or girl or something, and she's crying, she's got blood all over her. Like, exactly the picture, and anyone watching knows that picture. We weren't even alive in that era, and everyone knows that picture because it is so compelling. So, it depends on the media landscape. We had a serious media censorship, allegedly, whether we want to admit it to ourselves or not, but that is now being changed with the rise of social media. We are seeing people uploading videos from the ground. But with that being said, I still encourage people to be selective, because AI will only get more and more convincing.
All right, man. Then let's look into the camera right here. Let everybody know where to follow you at.
Yes, you can follow me on my personal page, Sara Investigates, on Instagram, and then Velvet Insider Entertainment on Instagram. I am also on TikTok it's just Velvet Insider on TikTok.
All right, that's what's up. You already know this, my creatives here on CUTS. The CUTS stand for Culture, Urban, Technology, and Sports. You know to follow me at, on everything, Remo Merak, REEMOMEERAK_. Also to Culture, Urban, Technology, and Sports. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google, Apple, DJ Chase Radio, YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And also, you also will catch clips on Tronics Network. You know what I'm saying? Catch it on there as well. You already know how we go over here, my creatives. Hands over the eyes. 8 to 1, baby. It's the 2 up. Turn that 2 over. Ruger's up. You already know what it is. That's peace. We out of here.
Oh, to the garden. It's a New York sound like we in the garden. Huh? Everybody with a check ain't certified. If you look behind these shades, you see a murder house. A lot of people that I beef, it wasn't worth my time. Got my name in your mouth, like them Perkins. How them take sucking contest, you first alive. Free live rule, he was serving time.